Hello and welcome to today's edition of Tosins Corner. A mentor is someone who shares their knowledge, skills, or experience to help another person to develop and grow. A mentor helps provide guidance to another person in a bid to ensure they do not make mistakes that they made in order to succeed in life. Mentoring is often long-term, with some mentoring relationships lasting over 6 months, and in several cases, mentoring can last years or even decades or a lifetime. In fact, some famous mentors and mentees cite long-time mentoring relationships. Today on Tosins Corner, we will be talking about the benefits and importance of mentorship in building a strong and successful society. I have joining me today someone who is very analytical when it comes to mentorship, finance, and investment. He is Mervyn Samuel Jr. Mervyn Samuel Jr. is a consultant and founder of My Girl Investment Limited, dubbed as the Apostle of Correction, based in Abuja. Apostle of Correction, welcome once again.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Thank you. So, growing up, did you have some sort of mentorship?
No, not at all. And I believe that's why my journey was a bit slower. And I had to learn from what they call the school of hard knock. I actually learned the hard way, made a lot of mistakes because I didn't have anybody to guide me per se.
Okay.
So I didn't have any mentor.
All right. So, well, I would say that, let me personalize it now. Some of us, what growing up, didn't really have that. And I think a lot of people are getting aware now. Why do you think it was so back then that there were not too many people to mentor us while we were growing up?
Okay, it's even worse now. But like you said, I will have to also make it very personal so people understand. Like me as a person, I was raised by a single mom who had to cater for her three sons herself. So most times she's not around because she has to look for food for the three boys. So we didn't have like an example of who to follow.
To model
Yes,
after.
yes. But the luck we had for those of us who were born in the 80s was we didn't have social media. So we we look at our pastors like role model, look at the people we listen to. Because as at that time, when you're listening to your pastor, it's just your pastor you're listening to. But these days that the average child has information of over 14, can access information of over 14 million from different, like 14 million outlets just by holding a mobile phone. So it is not difficult to even want to put that child in a particular direction where he or she needs to go. Because the moment you tell the child A, their phone tells them B and C. So they come and question the A, not knowing that every environment has a geographical pattern. Meaning, though principles have universal applicability, you can apply principles everywhere. But what is obtainable in America, for instance, is not obtainable here. For example, if you are filling a form in the US right now, the gender is no more male and female. At least here we still have male and female. In their own, they have other options. Yes, so when an African is talking to an African child, it is quite very, very difficult in this generation because of their access to that mobile phone. But in our days, it was a bit easier because the person who talks to you is the only person that talks to you. And you have to abide by his or her principle to grow. And that was what brought us to this point. We're also lucky to find great preachers there who we listen to, who point us in the direction we should go. And of course, things was also easier then compared to now. So it is very difficult to mentor people in this generation.
Can we say, or let me say, is social media a blessing or the other way around, when it comes to mentorship? Is it a blessing per se, or we should talk about the disadvantages of it?
Okay, like the popular saying, everything that has an advantage has a disadvantage. The social media is a blessing. And like every blessing not well handled, it becomes a curse. So For those who do online business, you can't imagine the number of people that have gotten rich just because they're on social media. Like our content creators and the rest, they are all millionaires today because of the social media. So it is a wonderful tool. But also, we have foolish people, because somebody once said, "Night is not every old man that when he gives you advice you should take, because foolish people also grow old." You understand? So we have different manner of people. Some are hurting by their experiences. Some came from a very bad place. They pour all those information on the social media. So somebody who just go to social media and usurp information will come and practice it without knowing exactly why that person gave that information. So you see some young ladies that want to run their marriages on social media. Whatever somebody is saying on social media, they'll forward it to their husbands or their wives and say, "This, look at this couple. This is how we should be doing. This is how we should." Most of the information there, in as much as it's a blessing, some are also false. So if you apply them to your life, it will just be falsehood.
And you also did mention something earlier on that this generation is not ready, or kind, it's something like that, that they are not ready for mentorship. Why did you say so?
Because they don't want to make sacrifices. That's just as easy as it is. And I've come to discover in life that if you don't sacrifice for your next level, the next level becomes a sacrifice. Either way, life must demand a sacrifice from you. So if you are willing to pay the price now, then you get to the next level. But if you are not willing to pay the price, the next level becomes the price. So it means you will attain that level. So, for instance, I have had to work in an organization. Yes, for close to 2 years, I was not paid. But I didn't actually go into the organization to earn, even though I know I need money for a living. But I was able to mark that at this point in my life, I need to follow someone who is going somewhere. So I came out, follow him all out. My background, for instance, is in geology. But when I came and started following him, he opened my eyes to consulting and trainings. So it was through him as I get certifications on trainings, consulting, finance, and the rest. And today I have become. So you see, no lawyer becomes a lawyer by laying of hands. So you go to church, your pastor say, "By the grace I carry, become a doctor." Then you fall under the anointing and you woke up, you're a doctor. It is not possible. If you want to be a doctor, you have to put yourself in a room where people who have medical experience will speak to you over the years. Then after like 5, 6 years, they give exams to write on the things they have been telling you. So if you repeat what they have been telling you to them, they'll say, "Okay, you have passed," and you become a doctor. So no captain is self-made. Every captain is made by another captain. So if you want to be made, in particularly this our younger generation, you have to look for anybody who is already successful in the field you have chosen and follow the person with all your life. Because the longest distance to success is shortcut.
All right. So, when do we need to start mentorship for this next generation?
You see, it all boils down to what you desire in life. For those who come around me, I tell them that don't just look at me and desire to be like me in the next few months. It's sometimes impossible. You need to look at the work we have put in, because any genuine process always takes time. So if you now decide to make those sacrifices and start putting that work, if the recipe is the same, the cake will taste the same. So for you to actually get to where we want to get to, you have to put in the work. But the advantage here is you have direction. You are not making a wasted effort. In our days, we have to make a lot of wasted effort before we find direction.
In the wilderness,
Yes, before we find direction. But what a mentor does, it points you to a direction.
But you go that way.
Yes,
this line.
yes. So you already know where you're headed to. In fact, when you look at your mentor, you should know your destination. And that is the advantage. But you must still have to walk through the path so that you also become strong enough to carry somebody else on your shoulder. You also become a mentor someday. So you have to walk the path to build you. But the luck you have, you have a direction. So that's the bigger advantage you have compared to the person who does not have a mentor.
All right. Talking about career choice, when or how does mentorship come in when it comes to career path?
Okay. You see, one of the things I like to do for free is to talk to younger people in the secondary school, those who wants to start making career choices. That's one of the things I like to do. But the good thing, unless it is changed, our school curriculum does not actually determine what the outcome of the person's life will be in few years to come. Like I earlier said, I had a degree in geology, but today I'm doing finance. So mentorship basically, because when you come out from school, let me put it this way, you start having desires for something else you want to do. Young people, if you find a very good idea, anything you're trying to do, somebody else has done it. There's nothing that is new. Find a way to get to that person and serve the person.
So, talking about service, what about when these young people are met with brick walls? Brick walls, in the sense that when they are met with people who are not willing, people who should be mentoring them, who are not willing to, impart them with the knowledge that they have acquired over the years. How do the young people, how do they handle this kind of situation?
Okay, you keep finding. If you actually meet somebody who is not willing to impart the knowledge, it's obvious that the person is not a mentor. There are a lot of people we have in our society that are very rich today. They have a lot of money, but that's all they have. For example, the Yahoo Yahoo boys. You can't ask such a person to mentor your child because you know what they do to get funds. But they have the money. They drive good cars, they live in good places. But you know what they do. I also have some people in the political class, for instance, who will not even want you to know how they get their money because it's illegitimate. So those people will always want to repel you when you try to come to them for mentorship because they don't even want you to go through the path they went through. And they can't say it, so they will always repel you. So when you find somebody who is willing, then if until you find that person, you have to keep searching. Yes, you have to keep searching. And another strategy, younger people don't know how to honor people. It's also a very big challenge. They don't know how to honor people. No human being on earth is honor proof. No human being on earth. Another thing is no human being on earth is gift proof.
All right. So, what does mentorship? What does it entail?
Okay, the mentee has a very major role to play. One, like I said, there will be a lot of sacrifices. You are not expected to like your mentor, whether you like him or not. As long as you get the lessons that he's trying to teach you. And like I say, sometimes a mentor cannot be one. You can have a mentor for your marriage. You can have another mentor for your business. You can have another mentor for your spirituality. A mentor will never massage your ego. He will puncture your ego. He will say words to you that you don't like publicly. At first, you will think it's an attack. But later on in life, you will discover that what this man actually did, like some of our parents, the way they flogged us. There was a day my mom, very funny, she flogged me. I asked her that she should not show me my real mother, that she cannot be my mother for flogging me like this. But in hindsight, we now say, oh, finally, thank God they did what they did. Because that it actually put us in the right direction. So your mentor will not be friendly with you. Because to shape a man or a woman to become who they have to be in life is a lot of work. It will take a lot of pain. So your mentor will inflict pain.
All right, let's quickly go on a short break. If you're just joining us, the program you're watching is Tosins Corner, and Tosins Corner continues in a moment. Don't go nowhere. All right, welcome back. It's still Tosins Corner, and my guest in the studio has been Mevon Samuel Jr. We're talking about mentorship. So, do people in Nigeria actually fancy mentorship? Do you think they do?
Okay, that's why we started the My God Mentoring Club. I discovered that there's a big gap between the dying generation and the upcoming generation, what they call the Generation Z.
Gen Z.
Yes. Now, the older generation that have amassed so much wisdom are not transferring this wisdom to anybody because of the large gap. So there's this very massive gap.
So we set up my government mentoring club for one purpose. Because God has helped us, we're in touch with the older generations and also not too old generations, people like you, who have actually established yourself in some certain area, you have found your path. So since we're in touch with you people, we try to gather the younger generations. Even though we couldn't get them to a space, but most of them are on our page. So we try to bring people like you to come talk to them, to transfer knowledge to them, because all they actually need is knowledge. Knowledge is key, then wisdom also is key. So when they are able to convert this knowledge to wisdom, then they can have the result our older generations have. So the mentoring industry in Nigeria is still a virgin land. In fact, I think there are very few of us who are into trying to mentor younger people. And younger people, if you tell them the price to pay to come for mentoring, they don't want it.
It's either you don't have transport.
Yeah. And it's so fortunate that you are looking for whom to blame when you ought to fight your own path to greatness. You are looking for whom to blame. So this older generation, the major problem we have in Africa, particularly in Nigeria, our successful people don't write. They don't have a book to their name. In fact, the only book we can see that has some traces of Dangote is 10 Commandments of Money by Aliko Dangote. It's written by Peter Anosike. It's not even Dangote that wrote it. The Adenugas, the Otedola, the Alakija, all of these Opus Dei in the financial and business world, they don't document. They don't come out openly sometimes to do symposiums and summits and the rest. So we can't easily track their formula, how they got the result they got. So it is difficult for the younger ones to follow that path to achieve that result. If I have access to Dangote, because I will ask him is what are his failures, I would like to learn from him. Because I know if I know, there's likelihood I will become who he is. But since they don't try it, it has created a gap between them and the younger generations. So we found in my government mentoring club, where we bring these people into the famous white seat of the club. Of course, we're one of our guests and we're privileged to have you some time ago. We can remember you spoke on the topic, what you will do differently if you find out that you're 18 again. So imagine a younger 18, an 18-year girl that is wise, a teen that is wise, listening to you. By those lessons draw from that session, she should have at least set apart. And we have made ourselves so open that if you desire to be like a Tosin and you couldn't reach out, why not contact us at the club? We'll find that for you. But you see, we're making efforts. Like I said, it's not a popular industry yet. We're making efforts. Some people are keen into it, some are shying away from it.
Because I was going to ask that, how is the reception?
Yeah, some are shying away from it
Are
because
the youth receptive of
yes,
the club?
some are shying away from it because they wanted an instant result, or like they say in local palace, where they share money. They say how they share money for the my God. So I am one person who is very passionate about the evening of my life. When you see yellow leaves fall from a tree, the green ones should be wise enough to know that one day they are likely to be like that. So I see elderly people as mobile libraries. So I have a lot of older friends. One day I was walking around my environment and I saw a very elderly man in his 70s. He's a security man. So I was having some food in my bag, biscuits and drinks. So we shared with him. I was starting gisting because he's sick cancer. So I asked him, sir, what happened at this age you're still doing this work? Do you have kids? He said yes. How are the kids? They complain bitterly. So I've chatted with many of them and I discovered two things from talking to these elderly people. One, they did not commit to anything in their life. So today they are with Tosin. Everything is good and nice. The moment Tosin faced small challenge, of course as expected because it's life, they disappear and look for Margaret. By the time they are with Margaret, they now add that, oh, Tosin is now doing well. They want to come back. Of course, the Tosin
by that time, Tosin would have built a wall.
Tosin is not a rascal and they will just accept you. So before you know, that's how they were moving from place to place, place to place, place to place, and they are 70. They never committed to any movement. Never. That's one. Then number two, they did not invest in people. There's a Washington said that if you want to be selfish when you are 70, invest in people. That by the time you are 70, you discover that you are the most selfish man on earth. I know a man who is in the 70s now who bank alert kills his battery. Bank alert. He doesn't even know the people sending him money, including me. Because of what he did to people. He was paying school fees for people he didn't know. So all of these people have become. So even though we have Judas, but a lot of people even just hearing his story, it didn't even impact them directly.
Even if it's 20%, 30% out of 100.
Yes, just hearing his story, reach out to him. So when our young people, okay, you are with a small business now, they are just starting up, they are facing challenges, things are, then you just disappear and look for the next government job that will take you. Then in 10 years, you know that, oh, that small business is now the talk of the town. Then you now start telling your friends, oh, and I was a former supervisor in that place. Before you know, you discover that you have been moving here and here, here and here. You never committed to anything. So that's exactly one of the major challenges our older people have. The ones that are doing not so well now is facing. So I'm one person who is very interested in the healing of my life. So I say whether good or bad, I'll give my resources to mentor young people. Some of them will not realize it now. But in hindsight, they will say, oh, that guy did us well. So I am not giving up, neither am I stopping anytime soon. I thank God for people like you who can call upon at any time and you're willing to come share your ideas and also your lessons for younger people to listen. So we keep making efforts. The reception has been low, as expected, because our young people will not want to go to where they will get knowledge. They prefer to go and press laptop, as they say in quotes, so that they'll get quick money. Because society has made them believe that if you are rich, that's when people will listen to you. But the question is, for how long do you want to be rich? Because the true wealth is actually in people. And if people know you do Yahoo, you're a 419 and everybody will run away from you. That money, you see, we have had lessons. That funds, that wealth does not last for more than 10 years. After a decade, it's gone. So what now become of you in the evening of your life? You start explaining yourself. You know, I used to drive this car.
I should have. Then you start thinking about things you should have done
that you didn't do.
Exactly.
And the lifetime is just one. We are not sure if there's a second yet. Yes, so that's just the challenges we are facing right now in terms of the reception. But like I said, we are pushing, we are making effort, we are encouraging younger people. Find somebody you want to be like. Do your best to reach out to that person and follow them with all your heart. You will become them.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, so on this note, I think I don't have anything to add. You know, at one point, I almost got carried away. Do well to like and follow my page at Tosins Corner. Thank you so much for watching. And